Storage Unit 214. There's a rule at storage auctions that nobody tells you. You're not allowed to touch anything inside the unit until the gavel drops. You just stand there behind a yellow line painted on cracked concrete, and you look. 10 seconds. That's all you get to decide if a stranger's entire life is worth bidding on. I got 10 seconds to look into Unit 214. And in those 10 seconds, I saw a shipping crate at the very back, wedged behind a wall of cardboard boxes. Wooden, long, narrow. The exact shape of a coffin. And stenciled on the side, in black spray paint, was my own name. Not a name like mine. My name. Spelled the way only
I spell it with the missing middle initial my own mother always forgets. I won that unit for $400. I have never wished so hard in my whole life that I had lost. My name is Daniel. I'm 34. And 3 months ago, I was broke, bored, and scrolling through storage auction videos at 2 in the morning, like half of America does. There's a facility outside town, Farrowgate Self-Storage, that runs live auctions every second Saturday. I'd been twice before, won a unit of old power tools once. Nothing special, just a hobby that paid for itself. Unit 214 was the last one up that day. The auctioneer barely looked at it, said it had been abandoned 11 months, contents unknown, sold as is. The door was already half rolled up when we walked over, just enough to see the first 3 feet inside. I remember the smell first, before anything else. Cold, metallic, like a hospital hallway at 3 a.m. Everyone else lost interest fast. Just boxes, they said. Not worth the walk. But I had this flashlight app on my phone, and when I pointed it into the dark, the beam landed on that crate in the back. And something about it, I don't know how to explain this without sounding insane. Something about it felt like it was already mine. Like I'd seen it in a dream I'd forgotten on purpose. I bid $400. Nobody challenged me. The auctioneer handed me the padlock key like it was nothing. Like he wasn't handing me the first piece of something that would take my sleep away for good. I went back that same night, alone. Big mistake looking back, but at the time it just felt like excitement. The garage door groaned going up, that metal-on-metal shriek that echoes way longer than it should in a place with no other sound at all. Just sonata. That thick, complete silence where even your own breathing feels like an intrusion. Boxes, like the auctioneer said. Neatly labeled, which was strange in itself. Most units are chaos, someone's whole life thrown in fast because they couldn't pay rent. This wasn't that. Every box had a printed label, not handwritten, printed. Daniel, books, age 12 to 18. Daniel, photographs, uncategorized. Daniel, correspondence, final. I told myself it was a coincidence, a common name. I told myself that for exactly as long as it took me to open the box labeled photographs. Because inside were pictures of me, my childhood home, my college graduation, a moment I remembered no photographer being present for. My mother's kitchen, taken from an angle that meant someone had been standing inside it. Whisper. Standing where I always stand when I visit her. I sat down on that cold concrete floor, and I did not move for 11 minutes. I counted them on my phone, because counting felt like the only thing keeping me tethered to something real. Then I looked again at that crate in the back, and this time, I noticed something I'd missed the first night. It had a shipping label, addressed to somewhere, a delivery date already stamped. The date was 6 weeks from that night. I didn't sleep after that. I started digging. Property records, business filings, anything that could explain why a total stranger would spend months building a shrine to my life inside a locked garage. What I found wasn't a stranger. It was a partnership. Quiet, never advertised. Between Farrowgate Self-Storage and a hospice center 2 miles down the road called Willowmere Care. Here's the arrangement, near as I can tell. Terminal patients at Willowmere. People with months left, sometimes weeks, get approached with something framed as generous. Let us help manage your estate early. Let us pre-sort your belongings so your family doesn't have to. Grieving in advance, they call it. Dignity in planning. Except the family never sees it. The units get seeded, filled slowly, months ahead of time, with a dying person's entire future estate, their photographs, their letters, their most personal, aching belongings. Then the units get sold at auction to total strangers, and the strangers become customers. It's a test market. They're studying how fast a dead stranger's whole life sells to someone who never asked for it. But that didn't explain the crate. That didn't explain my name. Because I wasn't dying. I'd had a checkup 4 months ago. Clean bill of health. So why was there a delivery scheduled, addressed to me, 6 weeks out, in a unit that had been sealed for 11 months before I ever stepped inside it? I went back one more time. Told myself I wouldn't. Went anyway. Some nights, the fear isn't strong enough to beat the need to know. The unit felt colder that third visit. Not weather cold, wrong cold. The kind that sits in your chest instead of your skin. I found a crowbar in one of the toolboxes. My own tools, somehow. Boxed and labeled Daniel, Garage, Misk. And I walked to the back of that unit, where the crate had been waiting, patient as a held breath, since before I ever knew this place existed. The wood groaned when I pried the first board loose. Inside wasn't a body. It was worse. It was paperwork. My paperwork. A folder, thick as a phone book, filled with documents dated across the next several years of my life. A lease agreement for an apartment I haven't moved into yet, A resignation letter from a job I currently still have, signed in my handwriting, dated 8 months from now. A hospital intake form with a diagnosis I have never received. At the very bottom of the crate, under all of it, was a single manila envelope, sealed. My name on the front, in that same printed font as every box in that unit. I didn't open it. I want you to understand, in that moment, standing in that freezing silence with my own future spread out on rotted wood, I understood something the hospice, the auction house, none of them had ever bothered to say out loud. The units aren't seeded with a stranger's past. They're seeded with your future. And somebody, some patient counter behind a desk at Willowmere, had already decided mine, priced it, boxed it, scheduled its delivery. I was the buyer, but I was also the estate. I called Farrowgate the next morning, asked to speak to whoever oversees unit intake. The woman on the phone went quiet for a long time when I gave her the unit number. Then she said, very carefully, that Unit 214 had never been assigned to a hospice patient, that it had been flagged internally as unassigned inventory, origin unknown, that in 11 years of working there, she had personally never seen a crate come through with a delivery label already attached before the unit was even auctioned. I asked her what that meant. She didn't answer. She just told me, quietly, like she wasn't supposed to, that company protocol says unopened correspondence found in acquired units should be returned to the facility, unread, no questions asked. I still have that envelope. It's sitting on my kitchen table right now, 6 weeks and 2 days after that first auction. 1 day past the delivery date stamped on that crate. I haven't opened it because some nights I think I already know what's inside. And some nights, the worst nights, I think it doesn't matter whether I open it or not. Because somewhere, right now, another buyer is standing behind a yellow line at another Farrowgate auction, getting their 10 seconds to look inside a unit they don't know is already theirs. And somewhere in the back of that unit, in the dark, there's a crate with their name on it too. If you ever win a storage unit that feels like it was already waiting for you,